Hi, this is Nick DeFord, juror for the American Tapestry Biennial 13 exhibition. Let me begin by saying that it was an honor to be selected as a juror for this show. With 189 entries from 114 artists, my first review of the entries revealed an immediate point to me. I was humbled. And it would be incredibly difficult to narrow down the entries to just 200 running wall feet. The scope, talent, and rich craft evident was inspiring. The process involved more than 5 reviews, slowly winnowing down the tapestries to the space restriction. I could have stopped several times during the reviews and had an incredible and larger exhibition. It's the bane of the juror to continue to remove works that they know deserve recognition and admiration. And so here's my public service announcement to all the 114 artists who applied. Keep weaving, keep submitting, and keep showing your work with pride and no inhibition. The amount of dedication and courage that it takes to first make art and then to present it before others to review, it is the mark of an incredible artist, and that represents great virtue. So my congratulations, humility, and admiration goes out to all the artists who submitted, and your talent was greatly appreciated, even if not in the following exhibition. Alas, in the end, there were 37 artists included, and the final works represent a wide array of the possibilities of tapestry. Some are very large, and others intimately small. While all were, of course, pictorial, there were both representational and abstract pieces included. There are figures and landscapes, dreams and nightmares, oceans, fields, and even firestorms. There are butterflies and bears, cell phones and skulls. Some were quiet, others bold. There are tapestries that are funny, sad, heartwarming, inexpressible, and even frightening. It is the power and strength of thread to be able to weave these emotions and disparities together. As James Tate notes in his poem, Different Kinds of Embroidery, when speaking about the variety of possible subject matters for fiber artisans, he says, "I am inclined to favor visions." As the entries went slowly from 189 down to 37, it appeared that I agreed with Tate. Among all the works submitted, there were certain themes that were prevalent among the content and imagery. A strong conceptual thread among the submitted works was that of omens, dreams, and/or prophecies. Many of the accepted works represent this theme, particularly in surrealist or fanciful imagery. The melting landscape and structure of Neighbor's House 2 seems almost to resolve out of a hallucinatory fog. The lone feather drifting down into a pixelated atmosphere of "there is something behind all this" becomes a harbinger for greater meaning in the simplest of signs. Even the non-objective and abstract works hint at a secret language that we are nearly able to decipher. The piece Building Night presents us with a cryptic algorithm in alien pictograms, as does the imagined language of declarative. The piece The Mouth of Hell, in its homage to illustrated manuscripts, actually depicts a portal to another world, one of horror and torment. Which leads to the darker side of the theme of omens and prophecies. Those that are not fantastic at all, but attempt to warn us of the cataclysmic possibilities in our very own reality. There was a surprising amount of submissions that dealt directly with the very serious threat of climate change. Works such as Tornado in the Field 2, Flood Zone, Breaking Apart, Regeneration, The Road, Rye, and Fire and Water, Out of Balance, all speak to changing climates or the vengeful wrath of nature. but also represented was the threat of humankind to one another. Real News and Granddaughter Annie both reveal the contemporary trend of miscommunication or distance from human connection. That particular cataclysm is almost more terrifying, as it is slow and often unnoticeable until much too late. Whether fantastic, like The Mouth of Hell, literary, like The Road, meteorological, like Flood Zone, or geopolitical, like Regeneration, there was a palpable interest in the apocalyptic. Weaving became a way of soothsaying, and the outlook was not particularly good. However, the act of warning is in itself hopeful. If it were not possible to change the course of a prophecy, then there would be no need to warn against it. While at first glance the content of these works may seem dark, I choose optimism instead. The very act of utilizing such a slow method of mark-making and creation is in direct opposition to quick overreactions and immediate panic. The works say that danger is coming, but there's still time. Time to make art, and time to change. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the two Teitelbaum Award winners. In many ways, they share the same themes already discussed, omens and prophecies. However, they turn an eye inward to the personal. In second place, I found The Flu in Mexico to be so incredibly effective at capturing such a particular moment. To lie awake in the worst hours of the night, ransacked by fever and chills, is such a specific, haunting feeling that most everyone can relate. To capture that moment in tapestry is not only a way to create empathy with the artist and viewer, but also, through the sheer act of making and documenting, it can show that those darkest hours of night can be overcome. Fevers fade, the sun rises. The first place award winner, Nasty Ladies Unite, Do It Now Before It's Too Late, was a remarkable work that seems to be both a relevant political poster while also a timeless memento mori tableau. The title itself is a political call to arms, the mantra of a secret society prepared to emerge. The imagery is a psychological junk drawer of chaos, from radioactive symbols to colorful blossoms, with dice, labyrinthine paths tumbling in the background. It feels almost like the flashing images that come from that fever dream, maybe even the same dream of the flu-stricken victim sleeping in their sweat-soaked bed in Mexico. It is an image that I continue to come back to, and best of all, it continues to reveal new meanings and details at every viewing. It is a tapestry that summarizes James Tate's request for all weavers and stitchers. Give us magical visions beyond our own, and allow for a space for us to forget the things that we thought we knew. Thank you. This is Juror Nick DeFord. That was my juror statement for the exhibition. I wanted to make a note and say also that I reviewed these works and wrote this statement in December and January of 2019 and the January 2020, right before the COVID-19 pandemic. It seems eerie to read the statement now, over a year later, and see how the issues of prophecy and cataclysm became ever more topical in 2020. I'm happy to see that the show is touring and that people can see the beautiful work now. And thank you so much for listening to my juror statement.